You are tuned into the new home for IE Sportsnet every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. with Coach B.
And Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here.
On Fox Sports Radio, 1350 a.m. IE Sportsnet every Saturday morning, 8 a.m.
Where the pros talk sports in Riverside and San Bernardino. Fox Sports 1350. KTDD San Bernardino. An iHeartRadio station.
Yo, what up? This is Sendog from Cypress Hill. You're listening to me on IE Sportsnet all day long, all day strong, you heard?
It is IE Sportsnet right here on Fox Sports Radio 1350 AM. This is Coach B with Michelle Gardner from the Daily Bulletin sitting in for Eternal. You know, when it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here. Good morning, Mrs. Gardner. How are you this morning?
I'm doing all right. It's a little early for me, but I'm good.
Yeah, we try to make sure we get it early. I know Eternal is going to give us a call in. He said that he just didn't feel it this morning. He wasn't ready. No, I'm kidding. But Eternal is going to call in. He's on that secret hotline giving us a call in. We're going to talk about a lot of great things today. Today we're so excited because we have some friends of the show. Coach Bruich from Redlands East Valley is in today. Cade Sparks and Stephen Carr II from Summit High School are in, and broadcaster Lindsay Mccormick is going to be calling into the show later as well. And also our special guest sitting in all day long with us. I don't know if you knew that, but we want you here all day, Michelle Gardner.
All right.
So that works. Do we have a caller calling in? Is that the one and only Eternal on location?
Man, you know, it is indeed. It's Eternal, man. I'm right here live on location, man, the great city of Rancho Cucamonga. You know, before the next Friday, you know, who would have known about Rancho Cucamonga? But hey, here we are.
Absolutely. And, you know, the great thing is we broke the story maybe 2 weeks ago. That was Michelle's from the Daily Bulletin. That was her pick to take the league championship over there in the baseline league. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes, indeed.
And are we ready to jump into some hot topics, everyone?
Man, hey, let's go ahead and hop right into it, brother.
So one thing that's big, we had Etowanda defensive back Trey John Butler. Hopefully I'm saying that correct.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm saying that correct.
You are.
He committed to Stanford. Give us a little bit about that, Michelle.
I was out there yesterday, and they had an auditorium full of about 500 of his closest friends. And
500?
Well, they had the entire football program, a bunch of other students, and it was about 400 to 500. It was a lot of people. And he didn't pull the fake out. He had the hats, you know, on the table, and he picked up the one that he wanted. But this kid has stressed academics from the first time I talked to him. And even when I spoke with him 3 or so weeks ago about narrowing his choices down, the first thing he talked about was academics.
Right.
So looking at the list of schools that he had in there, and that's not to say that, well, Stanford is Stanford, you know, but I don't think you could go wrong. Northwestern was one of the other schools that he was talking about, too. So this is a kid that was definitely considering academics above everything else. And he's going to major in mechanical engineering, and that tells you all you need to know.
There you go. And
wow, that's good stuff.
And he didn't know about a school that's in Southern California, that's in Los Angeles, that probably would have
been
He actually did take unofficial trips to both of those.
Okay.
So...
well, Eternal always tells me I'm a homer when it comes to USC. So
yeah, you know, hey, it's like I said, hey, you know what? And they haven't made the trip to the IE yet, so you need to go ahead and talk to Sark because right now, Jim Moore and the good old boys are out there in San Bernardino.
Correction. Remember, Coach Sark was at the primetime Polynesian camp at Corona High, and that's where I took the picture with him. So
okay.
So I have to stand up for my coach. He's my coach. I had to do my best Terrell. He's my coach. So what else do you have on hot topics, Eternal?
Hey, I know we have some big things coming up, man. Everybody's been buzzing about this, man. I know CIF has changed up some rules. I know Ms. Gardner has talked about that, but you can kind of let our audience know, because I know you're the aficionado when it comes to the new rulings and what's going on and new changes are happening at CIF. Maybe you can talk to our audience about a bit about that.
Well, the proposal is, and basically what they did earlier this week, they decided to continue talking about it, and as opposed to maybe just tabling it and saying we're not going to do it. But what they want to do is something similar to a basketball, where they put teams in different divisions, so your whole league isn't lumped into the same division. Okay, in basketball, I think that's the clearest cut case is in basketball, where you have a Damien that could be Division III, and you have Chino Hills, who was Division I, and then you've got the teams that competed in the elite, but they were in the same league. So in talking to coaches this week, they're kind of mixed about it. They kind of are a little hesitant. They kind of want to see where it leads and who's going to decide who's in which division. But I kind of like it, because if you're looking at a school like Damien, which is a pretty small school, should they be competing in the same division with Los Osos or Rancho Cucamonga, who have whatever 4,000 students, or St. Lucy's? You know, let's say in volleyball, St. Lucy's, do they need to be competing in the same division with Chino Hills and Rancho Cucamonga when they have a very, very small enrollment? So I kind of like it.
Right. I think it's a good proposal. Once again, you're listening to IE Sportsnet right here on Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM. You have Coach B with Michelle Gardner sitting in for the one and only Internal, calling us on secret location on the phone. And I know we're pressed for time, but one more thing that I want to talk about. And, you know, you call me a homer. I'm always talking about what's going on in Fontana. I love it. And we talked about this, Michelle, off air. Jalen Dean from Fontana Kaiser, the Sunkist League champion Fontana Kaiser, transferring over to Pomona Ganesh High School. What's going on with that?
Well, he actually did move. Okay. He actually did move.
We know how those address change.
There you go. No, he did move, and I talked to Coach Carr, and actually the school closest to him is actually Pomona High. But
another CIF champ.
Yeah, but he did want to play at Ganesha. This kid is going to make a difference. He's so excited he can hardly see straight. He's really excited. They don't get move-ins, transfers. Ganesha doesn't get those very often, and he said this is a kid that can play on both sides of the ball. You're also talking in a league that's not competitive. I hate to say that. It's nothing against those teams, but that league isn't really good. So a kid that's of that caliber that can play on both sides of the ball can be a big difference for that team.
And that's good, because Coach Cryer is going to be on the show next week. He's one of our guests, so that's something we'll really dig into. He's a friend of the show. Coach Green, who was his offensive coordinator last year, was he and I coached together before. So that's why I go by the moniker of IE Coach B. But that was a quick hot topics. We're almost out of time. Eternal, you have anything else you want to give us while you're out there on location?
I wanted to squeeze in a couple of things. Although I am out here in the great city of Rancho Cucamonga, yesterday I did get a chance to check out the Rancho Verde, their scrimmage. They're looking really, really good out there. Again, they have the new coach out there from Corona Santiago. They look good. I got a chance to talk to the defensive coordinator, Coach Reeder, and he's really excited. I'm actually going to come out there next Friday. I'll be out there on location when they take on Chino Hills for just a scrimmage to kind of bring you guys some real details about how that team looks. Also, I'm going to be on location in the great city of Las Vegas. Oh, yeah. Las Vegas, baby. I'm going to be going out there for the Magic Show. It's going to be it's a clothing convention that happens 2 times a year, so I'm really excited about that. And again, make sure you tell the very talented and our girl, Miss Lindsay McCormick, that I have seen her dance videos. I am a fan. Let her know.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate it. And, one thing I want to make sure you get it on the calendar, if you can, because I know you do all the camera work. On 9/25, the Downey Vikings will be in Chino Hills to take on the Chino Hills football team. So if you can make sure that's on your calendar, I appreciate that. I will be on Downey's side. I will be wearing my Downey gear from 1993 when I graduated. It's probably got all kind of moth holes in it now, but I'm going to make sure I get it done,
Hey, no doubt. I mean, and like I said, man, you guys hey, look, you guys go out there at New Gardner. I thank you so much for coming out. Obviously, it's greatly appreciated, man. And big up to our guy, Coach Bruich, champion Coach Bruich, friend of the show. I'm so glad, I'm happy for that guy. And big up to our summer players, man, the guys that took the 7-on-7 IE Sports.
Exactly. And then, of course, Stephen Carr II, who's going to USC. I mean, not that I'm a homer. That's.
Yeah. Hey, man, my man Cade Sparks, too, a good kid, too, man. So, hey, you guys take care, man. And again, like I said, I'll be back in studio next week.
Absolutely. We appreciate that. Eternal on location. Once again, you're listening to IE Sportsnet Radio with Coach B, Miss Michelle Gardner from the Daily Bulletin, sitting in for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here on Fox Sports Radio 1350 AM, Riverside, San Bernardino.
This is Ryan Kelly with the LA Lakers. And this is the IE Sportsnet.
Data knows you post selfies like they're going out of style. Data knows you've got no selfie control. Lucky for you, for just $35 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and more data than ever. So keep snapping and sharing. Boost Mobile cut the price and cranked the data. So stop spending a ton of money on a little data and start getting more data for less. Come to Boost Mobile and come to data. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or boostmobile.com for details.
Attention structured settlement recipients. Are you receiving future payments from a settled lawsuit? Do you receive annuity payments spread out over a long period of time? If you are receiving a structured settlement and want a lump sum payment, call CBC Settlement Funding now. If you qualify, you could be eligible for an immediate $1,000 fast-track advance. Get cash today to pay off credit card debt, buy a car, start a business, or make home improvements. Stop waiting for your money. Receive all or just a portion of your settlement today. Structured settlements are designed to spread out payments over 10 or 20 years. If you are receiving a structured settlement paid out over time, call to receive your personalized options and be sure to ask about a $1,000 fast-track advance. Get the money you deserve today.
Call CBC Settlement Funding now to discuss your free no-obligation quote at 1-800-648-4504, 1-800-648-4504. Again, that's 1-800-648-4504.
Did you know home appliance and major system breakdowns cost homeowners an average of $1,700 per year in repairs and replacements?
American Residential Warranty can help cover those costs with home service plans starting at less than $1 a day.
Plan options include coverage for central air, heat, and ductwork,
interior electrical systems and plumbing,
major kitchen appliances,
water heaters,
washers and dryers,
garage door openers,
ceiling fans, and more.
Even pools and spas.
American Residential Warranty replaced my dishwasher with a brand new one, and I only paid a small service fee.
I woke up on a Saturday morning, there was no hot water in the shower. So I called American Residential Warranty. They sent a repairman to fix the problem the same day.
Call now. There's no obligation. But hurry, if you wait until you need a home service repair,
it'll be too late.
Call now to get your home warranty. 1-800-969-0885. That's 1-800-969-0885.
Attention. The FDA has associated Depakote and Paxil with serious birth defects. If you took one of these drugs while pregnant and your child was born with a birth defect, the manufacturer may be to blame. If you took Depakote or Paxil and your child was born with anal atresia, cleft palate, clubfoot, cranial defects, heart defects, gastroschisis, omphalocele, PPHN, spina bifida, or other limb defect, call the Rely On Group. You and your child may be entitled to a significant cash award.
Call the Rely On Group right now and you'll be connected to an experienced attorney who will evaluate your case and determine if you may qualify for financial compensation. There is no risk on your part and you don't owe a penny unless we are successful.
If you took Depakote or Paxil while pregnant and your child was born with a birth defect,
call the Rely On Group at 800-219-6552. That's 800-219-6552. Attention patients who've been implanted with an IVC filter. If you or a loved one received an inferior vena cava filter and are now suffering complications, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible for financial compensation. IVC filters are implanted into the inferior vena cava vein to prevent blood clots from traveling into the lungs, causing pulmonary embolisms. Unfortunately, these filters can fracture, move throughout the body, pierce blood vessels and organs, tilt, or become irretrievable. These failures can result in a number of serious injuries, including internal bleeding, organ damage, infection, and even death. If you were implanted with an IVC filter and were injured, you may be owed compensation from the manufacturer.
Call the Rely On Group right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation for your pain and suffering.
If you or a loved one has been implanted with an IVC filter and the device failed, call the Rely On Group at 800-219-2913. That's 800-219-2913.
What's up? This is TJ Ward from the Denver Broncos. You're now tuning to IE Sportsnet.
It's IE Sportsnet right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is Coach B with the Miss Michelle Gardner from the Daily Bulletin sitting in for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here. So I'm pretty excited about this. Fortunately, we have one of the coaches I think has one of the biggest names in the entire Inland Valley. After last year, maybe in the state, he came in with his ring, with his bling bling. The one and only Coach Kurt Bruich. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. You know, a little funny story I had last year when we were at StubHub Center, when you guys were out there dominating, and I knew you guys were going to win the game. I saw your sister on the sidelines, and she was a little nervous. I didn't want to say anything to her until I knew the game was going to be won. And I bumped into her, and I said, wait a minute, aren't you the AD for Rupert Hills High School, and you have on that Rev shirt? And she looked at me as serious as can be, and she says, there's business and there's family. So
that's the truth. She's always been my biggest supporter, you know? And nervous is not even the word to describe how she gets when she comes to my games.
Right.
She's a nut.
Right. And how did that feel, Coach? Because last year we talked about you coaching and following in your father's footsteps. Now you have a CIF title just like your dad. How did that feel to finally get to that point? Because like we said, Rev was 1-48 before you got there. And to see that go from that to growing to being a CIF state champion.
Validation, you know, all the years of hard work finally paid off. You know, we finally got that one team where the chemistry was just intact, and boy, the kids they played hard.
I agree, Coach. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I think. Don't you think? When you hope you win more than one title, but don't you think a team like that is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime?
I agree. Not only that, but the stars on our team were the hardest workers. They were the ones who were always trying to get better. You know, Malik Levette, Joe Price, those guys carried us because they never thought they were good enough. You know, they always wanted to improve. Week 16, they were trying to improve something. So, it's rare. Once a kid gets to a certain point, they want to rest on their laurels. This was a special team. And I do realize that it's going to be very hard to try to do this again.
Right.
I've got a question, Coach. The one thing I found in other sports, teams seem to have a hard time gearing up for the state portion of the playoffs. There's so much emphasis on winning a CIF title and that Southern Section title. I've seen it a lot in volleyball, softball, or whatever others, basketball. How do you get your team revved up again for another run after you've just played in the division championship and won the division championship, and now we're going to play for a state title and we're still not done?
You know, it's crazy because we didn't, you know, you don't really know until Sunday if you're even in the state bowl game. So it was just lucky, you know, to be honest with you. I kind of prepared them. I said, I think we're going to be in this, so prepare yourselves, but be by your phones on Sunday because I'll let you know as soon as I can. And then the kids flipped the switch. Again, special group. Once I said we're in, they were ready to go. You know, Monday they showed up, ready to work. So the other thing is the way we practiced. As we got farther in the playoffs, I mean, we cut down on a lot of things. You know, hitting, we controlled the environment, so that way there would be no issues of injuries and that, you know, that kind of stuff. It'll kill you when you get to the state game because those guys are good.
Absolutely, they are. Once again, we have Coach Bruich, head coach of Rev Football. Now, I have one thing that I love, and I have not seen this. The city of Redlands, and it's a great sports town. The city really gets behind the team, and they really follow you guys. What was it like? This is one thing that Eternal he saw, and I didn't see it. They shut down pretty much the city, and they see you guys off to the game. Is that something that helped push your guys? I mean, the support of that city is amazing.
It really did. For the CIF final game, they lined the on-ramp, and so as our bus goes to hit the on-ramp, these crazy fans are all the way up the on-ramp, and nothing shut down. I mean, they're standing on the side. I mean, cars are trying to get on. I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's very Friday Night Lights, if you want to say. And then for the state game, they lined an entire street, Colton Avenue. They lined an entire street, and it was cool because we got the support from not only our fans, but the Citrus Valley cheerleaders had lined the streets. You know, so it became one city. You know, everyone was behind us. The other schools were behind us in the city too. And
that's good. Speaking of that, because I saw you guys bumped into Corona Centennial when you guys were at StubHub Center, so you saw the love of the Inland Empire. Now, Coach, I know last year was great, but what can we expect for this upcoming year? What are your thoughts on how this year is going to go for you guys?
Well, I mean, honestly, the expectations are from everyone because we have so many guys coming back. If we don't do it again, the season's a failure. I like to take it one game at a time. We got a tough non-league schedule. We start with Chaminade, who was the Division II state champ 2 years ago, playing us. So that's a good matchup. St. Bonaventure gives us trouble every year. Rancho Verde with Coach Steinberg is going to be pretty good. And then we get into league, and we kick off league with Carter. Again, it's a one game at a time season for me. But I acknowledge that everyone out there, the question I get all the time that I'm tired of answering is, can you do it again?
It's hard to do it once, let alone twice, right, Coach?
Well, that's what I tell the kids. I'm like, how many repeat Super Bowl champions do you see? How many repeat college national champions do you see? A lot of them have the same teams coming back. The odds are against us. We got to work that much harder in order to create some luck to make this happen, because the reality is, even last year, we had to be lucky at times.
The next question is, how much harder do you have to play with a target on your back? I mean, you're not you're the hunted, not the hunter anymore. So how does that change how you go about things?
You know what, Michelle, I always feel like we have a target on our back. I don't know if it's a personal, my dad, for being Coach Bruich for so long, now I'm in the Coach Bruich spotlight. I feel like other coaches from other teams, they're always coaching at their best when they play us. They change some stuff up and make us make adjustments. I feel like because of my dad's reputation, it's kind of fallen on me, and we always feel like, from a coaching standpoint, that teams are going to gear up and their coaches are going to gear up and have their best game plan.
And that's good stuff. So, and speaking of your dad, to stay on that point, like we said before last year when you were on the show, I live in Fontana. I know his shadow is big. Do you feel now maybe you have the monkey off your back now that you're in the conversation, because you and he both have CIF titles?
I don't think I'll ever be, to my dad's caliber. That man is special. He's my idol, role model, the whole thing. But I will tell you, it's different at the dinner table now. I can look at him and say, yeah, I got one too, buddy. So, and then the coolest thing was, we're on, my wife and I were on our way somewhere, and I got a tweet from Cal High Sports that they named me Coach of the Year, and which was cool. But to see that my dad and I are the only father-son to ever win the Coach of the Year, my chest was a little bigger getting out of the car.
There you go. I could imagine. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Ms. Gardner?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what advice did your dad give you? Did you, the week of that game, and obviously that's the most pivotal game your team has ever played in school history. What advice did he give you, or is there anything you asked him, or,
Not really. My dad just lets me go. We though we're very similar, we have different styles in the way we coach. I think I make things a lot easier for kids than he does. As far as football goes, the on the field playbook and stuff like that. So, he doesn't really get involved. He just lets me do my thing.
And that's good stuff. We definitely appreciate you coming in this early, getting up in the morning, coming in with the big CIF state championship ring. The one and only Coach Bruich, second year coming into the show. We appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Love being here. Being here.
I have it on tape, so now we'll make sure that we always invite you out. The one and only Coach Bruich. Anything you want to say on the way out, or?
No, I'm good.
We appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break. I know it was quick, but we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break. You're listening to IE Sports Net with Coach B and Miss Michelle Gardner for the Daily Bulletin, sitting in for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire Sports, the conversation starts and stops here on Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM, Riverside, San Bernardino.
Data knows you post selfies like they're going out of style. Data knows you've got no selfie control. Lucky for you, for just $35 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and more data than ever. So keep snapping and sharing. Boost Mobile cut the price and cranked the data. So stop spending a ton of money on a little data and start getting more data for less. Come to Boost Mobile and come to data. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store at boostmobile.com for details.
Attention, structured settlement recipients. Are you receiving future payments from a settled lawsuit? Do you receive annuity payments spread out over a long period of time? If you are receiving a structured settlement and want a lump sum payment, call CBC Settlement Funding now. If you qualify, you could be eligible for an immediate $1,000 fast-track advance. Get cash today to pay off credit card debt, buy a car, start a business, or make home improvements. Stop waiting for your money. Receive all or just a portion of your settlement today. Structured settlements are designed to spread out payments over 10 or 20 years. If you are receiving a structured settlement paid out over time, call to receive your personalized options and be sure to ask about a $1,000 fast track advance. Get the money you deserve today.
Call CBC Settlement Funding now to discuss your free no-obligation quote at 1-800-648-4504, 1-800-648-4504. Again, that's 1-800-648-4504.
Did you know home appliance and major system breakdowns cost homeowners an average of $1,700 per year in repairs and replacements?
American Residential Warranty can help cover those costs with home service plans starting at less than $1 a day.
Plan options include coverage for central air, heat, and ductwork,
interior electrical systems and plumbing,
major kitchen appliances,
water heaters,
washers and dryers,
garage door openers,
ceiling fans, and more.
Even pools and spas.
American Residential Warranty replaced my dishwasher with a brand new one, and I only paid a small service fee.
I woke up on a Saturday morning, there was no hot water in the shower. So I called American Residential Warranty. They sent a repairman to fix the problem the same day.
Call now. There's no obligation. But hurry, if you wait until you need a home service repair,
it'll be too late.
Call now to get your home warranty. 1-800-969-0885. That's 1-800-969-0885.
Attention! The FDA has associated Depakote and Paxil with serious birth defects. If you took one of these drugs while pregnant and your child was born with a birth defect, the manufacturer may be to blame. If you took Depakote or Paxil and your child was born with anal atresia, cleft palate, clubfoot, cranial defects, heart defects, gastroschisis, omphalocele, PPHN, spina bifida, or other limb defect, call the Rely On Group. You and your child may be entitled to a significant cash award.
Call the Rely On Group right now and you'll be connected to an experienced attorney who will evaluate your case and determine if you may qualify for financial compensation. There is no risk on your part and you don't owe a penny unless we are successful.
If you took Depakote or Paxil while pregnant and your child was born with a birth defect,
call the Rely On Group at 800-219-6552. That's 800-219-6552. Attention patients who've been implanted with an IVC filter. If you or a loved one received an inferior vena cava filter and are now suffering complications, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible for financial compensation. IVC filters are implanted into the inferior vena cava vein to prevent blood clots from traveling into the lungs, causing pulmonary embolisms. Unfortunately, these filters can fracture, move throughout the body, pierce blood vessels and organs, tilt, or become irretrievable. These failures can result in a number of serious injuries, including internal bleeding, organ damage, infection, and even death. If you were implanted with an IVC filter and were injured, you may be owed compensation from the manufacturer.
Call the Rely On Group right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation for your pain and suffering.
If you or a loved one has been implanted with an IVC filter and the device failed, call the Rely On Group at 800-219-2913. That's 800-219-2913.
You're listening to IESportsNet.com, the Inland Empire Sports Authority.
It's IE Sportsnet right here on Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM. This is Coach B with Miss Michelle Gardner sitting in for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here. Now, I'm pretty excited. This is our second year. Last year, we had this reporter who's on the line. Very, very great reporter. Took time out to give us a call. Miss Lindsay Mccormick is a sports broadcaster who's covered events for NBC Sports, CBS Sports, Comcast Sports, and ESPN. Lindsay is calling in on the Boost Mobile Be Heard Celebrity Hotline. Lindsay, did I miss any credits?
I think you got them all for the most part.
Well, that's good. I know. When we were communicating to get you on, you were talking about the basketball tournament on ESPN. You were covering that. How did that go?
It was a blast. Overseas Elite ended up winning it all and winning $1 million, which is so rare for a basketball tournament in the off season. And it was cool to see some of the players that I remember being stars in the March Madness tournament as well as players that had played. Chris Porter was somebody I loved watching when he was at Auburn and playing in the tournament. And now to get to see him play ball after all these years on this team was pretty extraordinary. So it was cool to see some of my favorite players I remembered from March Madness. And then, again, that had played in the NBA before. And Sean Marion was there. A bunch of the NBA guys were there checking out the tournament, too. So it was cool to see so much on the line for $1 million.
Now, did anybody give you any of that money, buy you some a drink or something?
They did not.
Oh,
so,
wow.
That's going to be in the contract for next year.
Right. Now, last season, Lindsay, you picked the Denver Broncos.
I did.
Didn't go so well for Peyton towards the end, but who are you picking this year for the Super Bowl and why?
So the Broncos lost last year in the playoffs to the Colts. It was like 24-13. So this year, I think I'm going to take the Colts. Not for that reason, but for various reasons. The Colts offense, they led the league in passing yards and receiving yards. They continue to improve every single season. You know, they added running back Frank Gore. They added wide receiver Andre Johnson, who my family is very familiar with, being from Houston.
Mm-hmm.
They added that into that high-powered offense. You know, they drafted Philip Dorsett to add to all of Andrew Luck's weapons, T.Y. Hilton, and several guys. And just I see the Colts. I mean, they just continue to make strides year after year, and Andrew Luck just continues to become a better and better quarterback. So they're my team to beat in the AFC. I know a lot of people are also saying Patriots, but I just think the Patriots have so much going on, and we don't know what's going to necessarily happen yet. So that's my team to beat in the AFC. And then in terms of NFC, I'm going with the Packers.
Oh.
I think they can win it all this year. Aaron Rodgers, one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the league. I mean, even backup quarterback Scott Tolzien was good in the preseason game. I know they had some red zone issues, just like they did last season as well. But I think Rodgers just has so many weapons. He has Jordy Nelson, who looks good after hip surgery. He has Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams. I mean, he has even Miles White looks good so far in training camp. But I just think if his offensive line can stay healthy, they could potentially win it all. And some of their rookie cornerbacks have looked really good, too.
Right. In the words of Stephen A., Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. So
he is.
I agree with you. And you touched a little bit on the Patriots. So if we can circle back to that, what's your take on this whole Deflategate thing? I mean, this situation is, to me, it's just drug out so long. It's been, what, a year? It's just amazing how long this is drug out. And it looks, as you read the sports wires and the feeds, it looks like Tom Brady's going to win.
Yeah, I think so, too. Well, my first thought right now is, why is this in federal court? Don't we have bigger issues to be dealing with? I mean, there's so many bigger issues than this. But I think because there is no smoking gun, like they said, I think Brady will win this. Had they had concrete evidence, and I don't think the Wells report is enough, I think that the NFL might have a case. But I think because they don't have a smoking gun, I think Brady could walk away a winner in this. And obviously, everybody's like, this has gone on so long. Why doesn't he just take that 4-game suspension? Well, we know that he had offered to the NFL, I'll take a fine, but I'm not going to admit I'm guilty, and I'm not going to take that 4-game suspension. So I think this is going to continue to drag on. But I think ultimately Brady could win this. I
agree. Once again, Lindsay McCormick, sports broadcaster, is on the line with us on the Boost Mobile Be Heard Celebrity Hotline.
We're going to switch topic, Lindsay. I think we all agree that the NBA playoffs this year were just off the chart. Every single series was compelling. It was just great theater. What was your take on the final series with LeBron kind of willing his team to win, and then the Warriors just answering and coming back and winning that championship?
Well, like you said, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. I'm going to say LeBron James is a bad man, and LeBron James is a lot better than. I mean, we know he's the best player in the NBA right now, and
because Kobe's hurt. Because Kobe's hurt.
Yeah, because Kobe's hurt. I'm still on the MJ train. I don't necessarily believe what LeBron just said, that he could beat MJ in his prime.
Right.
But maybe one day, we'll see. But LeBron James, I didn't expect that out of him, how he played in the finals. He was extraordinary. Becoming the first player in the NBA finals in history to lead both teams in points, assists, rebounds for the entire series. I mean, there's something extraordinary about that guy. So I was more impressed with LeBron having really no talent around him and winning those 2 games than I was with Golden State. It was their time, though. And had LeBron had the talent he did around him and everybody had stayed healthy, it would be a completely different series. But that's why people during this offseason have been talking so much about Tristan Thompson, because I think the Cavs are stupid. If you end up losing LeBron James after this season because of Tristan Thompson, I don't think Tristan Thompson deserves that max 5-year deal, $94 million that he wants. But I also don't think it's worth losing LeBron James over, because they have the same agent and because they're so close and because LeBron has structured his contract to where he could leave. He gets to make a decision after every single season. So I think it's dumb to not re-sign Tristan Thompson to that max deal he wants, because I think you risk losing the best player in the NBA.
Do you think the right player won the MVP? I mean, it could have been Curry. It could have been LeBron. I mean, even though he was on the losing team, it could have been LeBron.
Mm-hmm. It definitely could have been. And he would have been the second player in history to win that from the losing team in the finals. But I do think that the right player won the MVP. I mean, they seem to give the MVP award to the poor guy who has to guard LeBron. First they give it to Leonard, and now Iguodala. I just think Iguodala did such a great job guarding LeBron and looked extraordinary in those finals that he did deserve it. I don't think Curry, for the first half of that series, played like typical Steph Curry.
I agree with you.
So I was happy with giving it to Iguodala.
I agree with you 100%. And, you know, this question is fitting because we have Lindsay Mccormick on the line, who's a female sports broadcaster, and we have the Miss Michelle Gardner, who's sitting in with us. She's one of the best sports writers in our market for the Daily Bulletin. Now, I have a question for you. This is a question from our social media. If you want to ask us a question, use hashtag #IESportsNet. With the strides that women have made in sports and the success of Becky Hammon with the San Antonio Spurs winning the NBA Summer League championship, do you see a day where a woman will be a head coach in the NBA team? And I want to get that answer from both of you, from you, Lindsay, as well as you, Michelle Gardner.
I think 100% that will happen. I mean, you see Jen Welter working with the Cardinals right now as a coach. You see, like you said, Becky Hammon and what she was able to do during the Summer League with the Spurs. And then I look at women that have been very iconic, like Pat Summitt in the basketball world. And I really think we're getting to a point where one day we'll see a female head coach.
Absolutely. Ms. Gardner?
I agree. And if you look what Becky Hammon has done, I mean, she quickly earned respect. And her success right off the bat, the first thing she's done to win like that and take that team and do that, I think it's definitely setting the stage. We wouldn't have thought women were in the locker room 30 years ago either.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time. I don't know if it's going to be the next couple years, maybe 7-8 years down the line.
I agree. And you saw the clip of her when she was coaching. I mean, she really got into it. She looked like a little Popovich. So she really got into her player. So I agree. I think it's only a matter of time. And I have a daughter, and my daughter loves sports. So I love what people like you, Lindsay McCormick, are doing, as well as Miss Gardner from the Daily Bulletin. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in. I know last year you were saying it was a little bit early. So I appreciate you calling in.
I don't know if I've gotten used to waking up earlier, but this is always a blast with you guys. So
right.
I love it.
Before we go, I know there was something that's very near and dear to your heart. Musicbeathearts.org. You want to talk about that?
So if people want to know more about this organization, they can log on musicbeathearts.org. And what it is we get brand new iPods, and they have playlists that have been pre-selected and pre-approved, and they go and we hand out these iPods to these children going through chemotherapy and dealing with cancer because of the scientific proof that music is healing and it helps with this chemotherapy treatment. So to me, this is an organization that the second I heard about it, I wanted to be a part of. I thought it was fantastic what they were doing. And I always found with my trials in life, I would always listen to music when I wanted to get through them. I mean, even at the beginning of my career when I was nervous before going on camera, I would always have like a pre-game warm-up dance I would do and would listen to my iPod. I mean, look at the players listening to music before games to warm up. There's something healing about music, and what this organization does is truly amazing.
Right. And the thing with me, one thing I love gets me fired up myself, Metallica, Enter Sandman. That gets me going. I know no one would expect that, but that's a great organization. We appreciate that. And if you want to get more information, go to musicbeatshearts.org. Tell them Lindsay McCormick sent you. We thank you so much for calling in and giving us your time. Follow Miss McCormick. Follow her on Twitter, LindsayM_sports, and make sure you let her know that IE Sportsnet sent you along the way. So we appreciate you calling in. Lindsay, we got to do this again next year.
Definitely. It's our ritual at this point.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. You're listening to IE Sportsnet with Coach B, Miss Michelle Gardner sitting in for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here on Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM, Riverside, San Bernardino. Coming next, the Summit Boys. We got Cade Sparks and Stephen Carter II.
Xavier Henry from the LA Lakers. You're listening to IE Sports Net.
Data knows you post selfies like they're going out of style. Data knows you've got no selfie control. Lucky for you, for just $35 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and more data than ever. So keep snapping and sharing. Boost Mobile cut the price and cranked the data. So stop spending a ton of money on a little data and start getting more data for less. Come to Boost Mobile and come to data. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store at boostmobile.com for details.
Did you know home appliance and major system breakdowns cost homeowners an average of $1,700 per year in repairs and replacements?
American Residential Warranty can help cover those costs with home service plans starting at less than $1 a day.
Plan options include coverage for central air, heat, and ductwork,
interior electrical systems and plumbing,
major kitchen appliances,
water heaters,
washers and dryers,
garage door openers,
ceiling fans, and more.
Even pools and spas.
American Residential Warranty replaced my dishwasher with a brand new one, and I only paid a small service fee.
I woke up on a Saturday morning, there was no hot water in the shower. So I called American Residential Warranty. They sent a repairman to fix the problem the same day.
Call now. There's no obligation. But hurry, if you wait until you need a home service repair,
it'll be too late.
Call now to get your home warranty. 1-800-969-0885. That's 1-800-969-0885.
Attention patients who've been implanted with an IVC filter. If you or a loved one received an inferior vena cava filter and are now suffering complications, call the Reliant Group right now. You may be eligible for financial compensation. IVC filters are implanted into the inferior vena cava vein to prevent blood clots from traveling into the lungs, causing pulmonary embolisms. Unfortunately, these filters can fracture, move throughout the body, pierce blood vessels and organs, tilt, or become irretrievable. These failures can result in a number of serious injuries, including internal bleeding, organ damage, infection, and even death. If you were implanted with an IVC filter and were injured, you may be owed compensation from the manufacturer.
Call the Reliant Group right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation for your pain and suffering.
If you or a loved one has been implanted with an IVC filter and the device failed, call the Reliant Group at 800-219-2913. That's 800-219-2913.
Attention! The FDA has associated Depakote and Paxil with serious birth defects. If you took one of these drugs while pregnant and your child was born with a birth defect, the manufacturer may be to blame. If you took Depakote or Paxil and your child was born with anal atresia, cleft palate, clubfoot, cranial defects, heart defects, gastroschisis, omphalocele, PPHN, spina bifida, or other limb defect, call the Reliant Group. You and your child may be entitled to a significant cash award.
Call the Reliant Group right now and you'll be connected to an experienced attorney who will evaluate your case and determine if you may qualify for financial compensation. There is no risk on your part and you don't owe a penny unless we are successful.
If you took Depakote or Paxil while pregnant and your child was born with a birth defect,
call the Rely On Group at 800-219-6552. That's 800-219-6552. Warning: if you've been prescribed blood-thinning medication, please pay attention. The popular blood-thinning drugs Pradaxa and Xarelto have been linked to serious internal bleeding. If you or a loved one took Pradaxa or Xarelto and were hospitalized for internal bleeding, gastrointestinal bleeding, or brain hemorrhaging, or your loved one died, the manufacturers may be to blame. Call the Rely On Group right now to be connected with an experienced attorney for a free consultation and to see if you may qualify for substantial compensation and medical expenses. There is no risk on your part, and you don't owe us a penny unless we're successful.
If you or a loved one took one of these drugs and were injured, call the Rely On Group right now.
Do not delay. There are time deadlines to file a claim. If you or a loved one suffered internal bleeding after taking Pradaxa or Xarelto, call the Rely On Group at 800-226-1565 for a free consultation. That's 800-226-1565.
Yo, what up? This is Sendog from Cypress Hill. You're listening to me on IE Sportsnet all day long, all day strong, you heard?
And we're back. It's IE Sportsnet right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is Coach B with Miss Michelle Gardner from the Daily Bulletin sitting in for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here. I got to tell you, Michelle, I'm pretty excited about this interview we have coming up. Not that I'm a homer, but my religion is University of Southern California. Okay. So I'm just saying. So we have one gentleman in the building when he made his. Oh, there we go. We got the music right this time. We had him on the show already. He called in at the time. He was like, I'm busy. I'm doing a 7-on-7 with Ground Zero. I'll try to make some time in my day for you to give you a call in. But this time we were lucky. We have Mr. Stephen Carr II, USC commit, from Summit High School, as well as Mr. Quarterback, who won the MVP of the IE Sportsnet 7-on-7 tournament. You had something you want to add, Ms. Gardner?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I want to ask you this, and this is something that Cade, hopefully I said your name right, the quarterback from Summit High School, Cade Sparks, in the building. This is an interesting little tidbit that he gave us. Stephen Carr was offered by USC as a sophomore. So give us a little bit about that experience. How was that? How was that being offered by USC? Did I say Cade? I'm sorry. Stephen Carr was offered by USC as a sophomore. What was that experience like?
It was pretty breathtaking to get offered by my dream school.
Mine too. I didn't get offered, but
yeah, and it being the running back school of my dream school, it was an amazing thing, man. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, that was
And then I want to ask the quarterback. I mean, when we had the IE Sportsnet 7-on-7 tournament at AB Miller, you dominated that thing. I don't have your stats, but I mean, I think you had 37 touchdown passes.
33 of them.
33. He doesn't want to take credit. He's modest. Cade Sparks, the quarterback of the Summit High School football program. What are your thoughts about this season? What are you thinking about?
My biggest thing is, first off, I'm extremely excited. Senior year, got to leave it all out on the line, But as of right now, seniors, we start a new thing that we got to win each day, take it day by day. So that's one thing that we're really focused on, is just, giving the best we can, whether it's 100 degrees out there or it's, in the wind in Fontana. So, we're just out there giving all we can each day, trying to get better day by day.
I got a question. The Sunkist League, it usually comes down to Summit and Kaiser, and Kaiser's kind of the juggernaut that is at the top. And what is it going to take to maybe get over the hump and knock them off this year?
I mean, for me, my biggest thing is we got to be disciplined. Can't go out there and make poor choices, get penalties. But it's just hard work. We got to prepare for them like we prepare for every other opponent. Each game is as big as the previous one. So.
For Kaiser, I think it's going to be a battle. No matter how much talent you have, it's going to be a battle the whole game from the first quarter to the fourth.
And once again, we have Cade Sparks and Stephen Carr. Stephen Carr. I should know how to say that name. That's my middle name. I should know how to say that. My middle name is Stephen. So from Summit High School. Did you have another one?
I was going to ask another thing. You got that game against Etiwanda coming up. It's a new rivalry game. Yeah. The fight for the 15 or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
Do you guys really like that? Do you look at Etiwanda as your biggest rival, or is Kaiser the huge rival because it's a neighborhood rival and it's the same league?
I find Etiwanda as a big rival also because we have a lot of friends that go there, and it's a lot of competition going back and forth. You know, we all go to the turfs, work out, and then get on the fields, getting pads, and we just have a ball.
Right, absolutely. And the funny thing is, because I live in Fontana, so I live in I live right by Baseline and Cherry, and my daughter, I mean, she went to elementary school in Fontana, she went to middle school in Fontana, but she goes to Etiwanda. So that is a big game because some of the kids they'll go to Etiwanda or Summit. So do you guys? Because I know you're with Ground Zero, Stephen. Do you have guys that you work out with? Now that's one thing I want to ask you. When I was in high school, I think Barney Rubble was getting his license when I was in high school. But when I was in high school, we didn't want to be on teams because our rivals. We didn't want to be on the same team. Is that interesting? Because you guys are on some of the same teams with Ground Zero.
Ground Zero, yeah. It's a lot of Etiwanda players on there also.
Right.
Yeah. So
what is that like?
It's cool working out with them, man. But we just know once season comes, they better be ready.
Yeah, you guys talk a lot of junk out there.
Always, man. Always.
I love it.
Question for each one of you: as a defensive player, who is the best offensive player that you've played against at the high school level? And as the quarterback, who's the best defensive player you've played against?
I'm mainly an offensive player. Running back, but at safety, I'd say it'd probably have to be.
I love the drum roll. We're gonna run out of drum roll.
As a defensive player, I haven't really played defense that much on the field yet, so I couldn't really pick anybody yet.
Okay, how about as an offensive player?
Offensive player on defense. There wouldn't really be a specific player as a team. I'd say it'd be the Revs defense. All their linebackers were pretty solid.
Nice. Or your teammate over at Carter.
Yeah, Carter. I haven't really played it. I've only played against him in 7-on.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
For me, I would say, I transferred last year, so my situation where I had to sit out. But I would say one of the hardest, because I've worked out with him. I've worked out with Trajan, and, he's just committed yesterday. He's a great kid.
Going to Stanford.
Really talented. So you got to make sure when you're throwing against him that you're putting the ball where it needs to be. So that would be my defense player.
Yeah, my daughter's excited about that because she goes to Etiwanda. She was happy that Trey John committed to Stanford. I wanted him to go to SC, but
I don't think that was ever in the hunt, though.
I'm greedy. I mean, Stephen Carr can understand. I mean, SC, we want everybody, right? Yeah, we want we got to get back up to 85. We've got to get to 85. And, one question I want to ask you as well, and this is for the quarterback, Cade Sparks. Once again, we have Cade Sparks and we have Stephen Carr from Summit High School. So last year, you got a chance. You weren't injured, but you transferred, and you had to sit out and watch some of the games. What was that like? I mean, you're in practice, you're working with these guys, it's blood, sweat, and tears with these guys. What was it like to sit back and watch them throughout the season and not be able to get involved?
Well, first thing, obviously, it was tough. It was hard. Going in each day, my work ethic didn't change. I was always going to make sure I was be the hardest worker on and off the field. But it's just hard. I love the game, and, going out there, get really eager. I got pregame jitters, and I couldn't even play, and I would trade anything to go out there and play. So. But the biggest thing I would say is more fuel for the fire for this year.
Right.
Did you spend any time working with the other quarterback that was starting and kind of working with him on the offense?
Oh yeah, all the time. Whether it be in practice, in game, during school, we were always talking football. So.
Good deal. I love it. Now, that's enough talking about the high school game. Now, what I want to do is if I could take a minute or two to talk to Stephen, if it's okay. Is that okay, guys?
Yes,
do we have the SC music? So let me know. Is this our year? We're finally off probation. We're finally. And I keep saying we. Like I'm on the team. Like I'm out there. I was a bench warmer. I was all-state bench warmer. But that's not important. Now, are we going to get to the playoffs this year, the 14 playoff this year?
Yes, I believe we can. We have the players to do it. I believe we can.
Juju, Adore, Sua Cravens from Vista Mirameta, Vianney from Corona Centennial. Yes.
We got a lot of the stack, man. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely. And have you seen, Adore? Adore
is one of a kind, man. He's different. He's a different type of athlete, man.
Absolutely. And, I didn't – Reggie Bush was the best college player I ever saw in my life. I know there's been great players.
We're just watching his highlights in the back room right now.
That's a true USC Trojan. A true USC Trojan. So, Adoree', I think he – and when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be better than Reggie Bush.
That's pretty tough, man, but –
you heard it here first.
Yeah, you're right.
You heard it here first. So we're going to go undefeated this year.
He can do it, though. He can do it.
We're going to go undefeated this year, and we're winning the national championship, right?
I believe it.
Coach Sark. Coach Sark's got a good one. Anything else you want to add, Ms. Gardner? And then we can go back to high school football.
How about the UCLA game? You think that they're going to kind of get the monkey off their back and actually win that one this year?
Yeah, USC's going to take it this year. I have no doubt about it.
That's what I'm talking about.
No doubt about it.
Fight on.
You got to take back the city before you can take back
right.
the state, the country, whatever.
It's a done deal. We'll get it done. We appreciate you guys coming in so early. Thank you guys so much. Once again, I'll say your name right, Stephen Carr. Stephen Carr II and Cade Sparks from Summit High School. Do you have anything else you want to put out there, Ms. Gardner?
I'm good.
Excellent. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. I know we're pressed up against time, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Your first game is September 4th against who? Etiwanda. That's right.
Make sure you guys be there.
That is their first game.
Be there.
I will be there. YT is going to be in the house?
YT is going to be in the house.
There you go.
Actually, I got one quick question.
There you go.
The Etiwanda game is your first game. It's their second game. Do you think they have an advantage because they've got a game before that where it's your first game?
Not at all. Not at all.
We're making sure we're getting our work in. We have a scrimmage the week before. I think we're both going to be, so excited to play that it doesn't matter. We're going to both go out there and do what we got to do.
I agree. It's going to be a good game. I will be there. I will be in the house. I will be ready. And then, like I said, I think we will go ahead and take a quick commercial. We'll cut it short, but we'll take a quick commercial break. We appreciate you guys coming in. Once again, Stephen Carr II and Cade Sparks, quarterback for Summit High School, running back for Summit High School. You're listening to IE Sports Net with Coach B, Miss Michelle Gardner from the Daily Bulletin, sitting in for Internal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here on Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM, Riverside, San Bernardino.
You're listening to IESportsNet.com, the Inland Empire Sports Authority.
Data knows you post selfies like they're going out of style. Data knows you've got no selfie control. Lucky for you, for just $35 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and more data than ever. So keep snapping and sharing. Boost Mobile cut the price and cranked the data. So stop spending a ton of money on a little data and start getting more data for less. Come to Boost Mobile and come to data. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store at boostmobile.com for details.
Did you know home appliance and major system breakdowns cost homeowners an average of $1,700 per year in repairs and replacements?
American Residential Warranty can help cover those costs with home service plans starting at less than $1 a day.
Plan options include coverage for central air, heat, and ductwork,
interior electrical systems and plumbing,
major kitchen appliances,
water heaters,
washers and dryers,
garage door openers,
ceiling fans, and more.
Even pools and spas.
American Residential Warranty replaced my dishwasher with a brand new one, and I only paid a small service fee.
I woke up on a Saturday morning. There was no hot water in the shower. So I called American Residential Warranty. They sent a repairman to fix the problem the same day.
Call now. There's no obligation. But hurry, if you wait until you need a home service repair,
it'll be too late.
Call now to get your home warranty. 1-800-969-0885. That's 1-800-969-0885.
What's up? This is TJ Ward from the Denver Broncos. You're now tuning to IE Sports Net.
The Inland Empire Sports Authority.
And we are back. This is the one and only IE Sports Net right here on Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM. This is Coach B, and we were so honored. Miss Michelle Gardner from the Daily Bulletin sat in all show for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire sports, the conversation starts and stops here. Now, I know we only have like a minute or so left, but Miss Gardner, we appreciate you coming in. What were your thoughts about doing radio? I think this could be a career for you.
Oh, I don't know about that. I kind of like having time to think about things as I'm writing, as opposed to going on the fly here.
Yeah, we're absolutely on the fly. So we appreciate it. It was a great show, a really, really good show. We had Coach Bruich, who was an amazing man. Love that guy. And then we had Cade Sparks, and we had Stephen Carr II, the USC commit. They're both those are the Summit High School players, and Miss McCormick called in. Next week we're gonna have a good show. Next week, we talked about Coach Carr at Ganesh High School. He'll be in next week. And then Coach Ketzner, I think that's his. I'm terrible with names, from Oak Hills. And Corey Hammonds from Lakers Nation will be calling in as well. So, and we got to get some more. We got to get some more information from Miss Gardner. We call it Hot Topics at the beginning, but we should just call it Miss Gardner's Topics because
I don't know about that.
You cover so much. I mean, we talked about all the college signings, the high school notes, the CIF rule changes. You'll keep us posted on what's going on with that, right?
I shall. Absolutely.
Do you think they're going to make the changes? I think it's good.
I think they are. I think it's coming.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. So that's one good show. Now you can breathe and you can exhale, you know? We're done. Eternal will be back next week, but we got to have Ms. Gardner call in. So thank you so much for listening to IE Sportsnet right here on Fox Sports Radio. You're listening to IE Sportsnet with Coach B. Ms. Gardner sitting in for Eternal. When it comes to Inland Empire Sports, the conversation starts and stops here on Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM, Riverside, San Bernardino. We'll be here next week, Lord willing.